All right, what's up, guys? Today we're talking a little Elk Grove, California. Elk Grove real estate. If you're thinking about moving to Elk Grove, well, this is going to be the video. We're going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly, so stay tuned. All right, as everybody knows, here is my partner in crime, Aaron, who is old school Elk Grove. Aaron, how you doing today, man?
What is going on, man? Elk Grove High School class of 1999 right here for you.
I know, man, old school. Okay, so let me ask you something straight up. Getting in it. What is the appeal of Elk Grove? Like, what is like, and I know everyone's going to watch all these other videos on like, oh, this is the best place in the world, but like getting like your feel of being like been there for a while, seeing it develop, like what is the appeal for people who love Elk Grove? Because I've got Elk Grove fanatics call me up. What do you think?
Sure. Well, there's kind of like there's two main things if you ask me. One is if you have a family, Elk Grove is a phenomenal place to raise a family. You've got some of the best schools in the region, and you've got a lot of schools as well. And the cool thing about it, like I when we started off, yeah, Elk Grove High School class of 99, and back when I was growing up in Elk Grove, we didn't have like 10 other high schools to go to. I mean, the town was really, really small. Like 95757 didn't even exist. And the 95758 was just starting to like get built out. It was really like proper Elk Grove 95624. And basically, like through the late 90s and the early 2000s, you had massive expansion that took on and has continued to grow because it's basically, it was a lot of farmland, right?
Yeah.
Very flat farmland as well. And so they were able to, you just basically neighborhoods are popping up nonstop. And so the cool thing from an angle of like, if you have a family, especially if you got kids and they're in sports and all that kind of stuff, there is a massive amount of things to do with your family, to be involved in sports, school, extracurricular, all that kind of stuff. And it's all over the place. So that's one thing. The other thing is, if you look at the demographics of people that move to Elk Grove, like 72% of people that are leaving San Francisco, they've got their eyeballs on Elk Grove as a potential location. So you get a lot of people relocating from the Bay Area going to Elk Grove because the amount of money that it costs to live in Elk Grove versus pick anywhere in the Bay Area, it's significantly less. You get more space. There's a lot more stuff for you to be able to do. And it's a reasonable commute back to wherever you got to go to work, whether it's full-time or on a hybrid shift or those one-off meetings or whatever. So I would say those two things are the main draws. What do you think about that?
Well, here's the thing. I think that if you even like comparatively towards the Bay Area, Elk Grove is a no-brainer. I mean, as far as price points and everything too. But I do think for what you get in Elk Grove, as far as like homes, as far as like everything like that, and just community lifestyle, like if you compare it to other areas like a Folsom or Roseville, you can still get in there at a lower price point than you can in some of the other areas in Sacramento. So if someone's saying to themselves, you know what, I want everything, but I don't want to pay $1 million for it. Like Elk Grove tends to be that spot where you can get something like, like nice over 3,000 square foot house, 5 bedrooms, nice parks, walking, family friendly, all that fun stuff. Because comparatively, I mean, you look at Folsom. Folsom is one of our big markets, like Rockland too. Like getting in, I look at stuff in Elk Grove that you can get for maybe 800, and if you look in Rockland, we're talking like over $1 million. Folsom over $1 million.
Oh,
so
totally.
it's like if you want all the bells and whistles and you still don't want to break the bank, Elk Grove tends to be that spot that I look at for people, and also the rental investment opportunities as well in Elk Grove. Apple's there. It's not bad. So okay, like let's talk a little bit about the zip codes. The 3 main zip codes. Why don't you hit into that?
Yeah, so like let's start with the original 95624. So that's like on the southeast side of Elk Grove. It's basically like if you really kind of dumb it down, if you take Highway 99 on the east side of 99, that's basically all of Elk Grove that's in the 95624. That's the original Elk Grove. And although there is some new development throughout that zip code, the majority of the homes, they're all built like in the 70s, 80s, 90s, like that. That's going to be where you're going to be able to get in at your lowest price point. The average price point in Elk Grove is like around 640,000, but there's listings shoot, there's a listing right now for like $9.3 million. So it's
Yeah.
definitely not like there aren't like some really nice luxury places out there as well. A lot of those, by the way, tend to be on the east side of Elk Grove, out in the country, more of like a country estate. But the 95624, I like that. That's where I grew up. You know, obviously I'm a little biased on that. However, as you kind of spread your wings out in Elk Grove, if you go on the west side of Highway 99 and you're north of Elk Grove Boulevard, then you're considered the 95758. And that's kind of the part of Elk Grove that started developing after the 95624. The cool thing about 95758, that's where there's a bunch of high schools. The original high school was Laguna High School. But if you're looking at neighborhoods, they kind of generalize that whole area is called Laguna, basically, but it's
Mhm.
really Elk Grove proper. Um, Laguna has tons and tons of all these little master plan communities, some lake communities, a golf course, there's a racquetball club. A lot of the newer shopping developments are out there.
Yep.
So Laguna is pretty cool in my opinion, because you get some of the new, but it's also been around long enough to where like you actually have like, you know, the landscaping's grown out and, you know, it's had time to develop a bit, right? Obviously, though, you're going to be in a higher price point than the 95624 in most cases out in those areas.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when you go to 95757, which is basically the giant swath of land that's between I-5 and 99 and south of Elk Grove Boulevard. Um, that's where the Elk Grove Auto Mall is, by the way. So if you're kind of using that as a reference, but that whole area that was all built out during the early 2000s, and it's continued to grow like wildfire. I mean, that's where the majority of the new home builders that are building in Elk Grove, that's where they're building at. And there's been a ton of economic development in that area, including the Sky Casino,
Oh yeah.
which just recently, I feel like that just opened up like within the last couple of months even. So don't you have some info on that?
Oh yeah, I got a slide up here. But hitting it like as far as the 957, I mean this area, we got so many people like building homes in that area too. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
builders building new development. That's kind of their new development hub. Some of them leak over into the 95758, but for the most part, like this is where the new homes are kind of doing. The 757 is exploding. The casino, it's just like if you want something new, brand new. I mean, you got Taylor Morrison, Madera Meadows, you got Lennar, Essentia out there, you got Richmond American, Meritage. I mean, you got some premium builders out there. Let me ask you something though. Let's go back to like this 624. For me,
Sure.
I love the area, right? I think the area is kind of like Hallmarkish. I'm a big fan of Yellowstone, so I like that vibe of the ranch and everything too. But now here's the thing:
Sure.
we don't want to give you all the pros. You can find them everywhere. And like I said before, we get into the negatives about areas too. Understand that every area you go to has a negative about it. Now, in the Sheldon area, you're going to find some of these big monster estates, which are gorgeous. I mean, $1 million homes. Now, the only things the negatives I would say about this area specifically, one is it's probably the most susceptible to flooding as we've seen recently. The 99, the flooding tends to be a little bit
Uh-huh.
there when it rains. Now, Sacramento, you're not going to see a whole bunch of rain days or crazy rains. I mean, the rains we just had, I mean, that's just like an anomaly, right? So I'd say like in that area, the roads need to be developed. Eventually, maybe even doing that highway between Elk Grove to El Dorado Hills, which will be nice. But I think that area is ripe for development. Number two, in that area, you might be stuck with bad internet, frontier net,
Yeah.
satellite. So if you're someone who likes like, like Spotify, if you like the Wi-Fi stuff, I mean, we don't realize how much internet speed we need, but that could be also a big problem. And the third one that I'll say, and I mean, there's more. I mean, we can go deep into it, but I don't want to dive too much because I love the area. And it's probably one of the spots that I would love to move into in Elk Grove because it has that rural hallmark feel to it. But number three, I'd say, and this is a big one, is like Sabo, who's a friend of ours who moved in there. He lost power for a few days out there too. So we're talking like
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of in generator country. You got your own well. Don't let that intimidate you. Sometimes having a well, especially in like water conservation months, is a lot better than not. But you're going to have that kind of rural living out there. What do you think, Aaron?
Oh, you're totally right about that. I mean, it's not all the 95624 is that way. I mean, a lot of it is like your suburban residential neighborhoods, but as
Yep.
you get on the east side of that whole area, you're out in the country basically. And I keep hearing that the internet's getting better and better, but I wouldn't plan on that. In most cases, that's at least the client experiences that we've had thus far. I would add to that that one of the things that I don't like about that side of town specifically is the fog. And during periods of the year, in the wintertime and stuff, when you get fog, it gets super foggy out there because you're driving around on there's a lot of country roads still. You still got a lot of ag land and pastures and stuff like that. And so it just gets like it's thick like pea soup. So that can be a little gnarly at times. While we're picking on Elk Grove, I lived there for like half my life, so I got all sorts of things to pick on as far as that goes. Spent a lot of time thinking about. Really, like my what I would say my biggest like con of Elk Grove is that it you know it's not the best location in terms of like where it is on a regional map. So if like you need to leave Elk Grove to go anywhere, unless you're going to downtown Sacramento, it's not very convenient. So like depending on where your family's at, like if for instance you live in Elk Grove but your family lives in Placer County or something like that, that's going to be miserable, like, driving across town, all that stuff. Um as far as location goes as well, Elk Grove, although there are like some really well planned out areas, if you look at it, it's kind of like a grid as far as like from east to west. And like Elk Grove Boulevard goes all the way across it. So does Bond, so does Sheldon, all that stuff. And so if if you live like this was my life, I lived on the 99 side of Elk Grove. And if I
Hmm.
needed to get to I-5 or that side of town for something, it can take 30 minutes, even though it's only, 5, 6, 7 miles or whatever. But because of all the stop signs and all the, or stop lights, I should say, it used to be stop signs back in my day, but all the lights and the traffic and all that stuff, it can take a long time to get from one side of town to the other for being in a small town. I mean, obviously, like if you're driving across all of Sacramento, it takes a long time too, but Sacramento is a much bigger city. Um, eh, you know, so I would say, just location wise, that would be a downside for me. There's a lot of good things about it though. The only other thing, if I was kind of, while we're picking on Elk Grove, and it's getting better as the growth continues and they have more economic development. But like if you're a foodie and like going out to all sorts of restaurants and everything is your thing, and you're not cool with driving 20 minutes or so to get to downtown Sac or midtown Sacramento, you're going to be disappointed with your options, most likely,
Hmm.
in Elk Grove. I mean, they do have a Makuni, which is like the top notch sushi restaurant in our region. But besides from that, there's not really like any bell ringers out there of like, like some really great restaurants, at least that I can think of. If I'm wrong, put them in the comments below because I'd love to go check out a good spot. I haven't been to the casino yet, so I can't vouch for any of those restaurants though. But it looked like when I was on their website, those do look legit.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think when they throw in casinos, they do the steakhouses, they do everything too. A
Sure.
client of ours, Sarah, she actually loves that casino over there too. So she said nothing but good things. Okay, let's
Cool.
hit Laguna real quick as far as like pros and cons. For me, Laguna is one of my favorite spots in all the Sacramento metro. I love the man-made lakes. I like the concept that you have that soccer field in the middle of the lake area. I like the vibe there. It kind of reminds me a little San Diego-ish, to be honest, with the wind coming in. I think in that area though, the homes tend to be a little, for me at least, I've seen a lot of homes on the water tend to be a little smaller. They seem to be a
Hmm.
little bit like the floor plans don't really flow as like nicely as I've seen maybe in the 757 because they're not as new. But I don't really have too many negatives about Laguna like the 758. Do you?
No, the only thing that I don't like just off the top of my mind is in terms of like how some of those neighborhoods were developed out. I feel like they got a little too creative with like the map, if you will, the grid of the streets. And
Okay.
it's a little bit of a labyrinth in some of those spots where it's like, it's like that circular design, and you're like constantly kind of trying to get out of the labyrinth out there. So it can be a little difficult to navigate, like that spot where you're talking about where there's the floating the soccer field in the middle of the lake.
Yeah.
Getting out there is a little trippy without like watching your GPS the whole time. So Laguna's a good spot, man. It's hard to beat up on that place.
It's nice. Okay, so let's hit the 757 too. Pros and cons. Okay, so if you guys are going to 757, you're going to notice, like we mentioned before, that's where like the new home builders, majority of them are building out there. That whole area is being developed out. You got Taylor, you got Lennar, Meritage, Richmond American. You got the builders going out there like crazy. Tim Lewis is building there, I believe, also. So you have a lot of builders creating this brand new area, brand new homes. You got big floor plans like the Sawyer, like the Drake, the Taylor Morrison's rolling out. Now, I like the new home feel. You're going to see open floor plans, but there comes with a huge, huge negative about it. In that area, you're going to find some of the highest Mello-Roos in all of the Sacramento metro. And, you can go out there, see some new homes and everything too. And then you're going to go to the sales office and they're going to say something to the around like $350 a month for Mello-Roos. So I would say before you start looking at homes also in the 757, go to the Sacramento County Mello-Roos checker, tax, government, and see exactly what their tax bill looks like. Because Mello-Roos is definitely something that I'm seeing as being a huge, huge problem in the 757. What do you think, Aaron?
Oh man, you took the words out of my mouth. The Mello-Roos is crazy out there, and Mello-Roos is they're additional taxes that you're basically paying to develop the area. But that doesn't mean that like Starbucks is going into the area or shopping. It's more of like parks, schools, fire departments, those like infrastructure kind of thing. So the other thing that's a downside to the 95757 is basically the further south you go, the newer it is. So the
Yep.
further south you go, the less, convenient resources you're going to have, less shopping, those kinds of things. A lot of that stuff is more so focused along that Elk Grove Boulevard corridor and north of there. So, the further south you go, the nicer and newer it's going to be in terms of like, if you really want a brand new house, there's some sweet houses out there, especially like I feel like the Taylor Morrison Drake model like set that whole area on fire, and it's just been like nonstop ever since with the new builds.
Oh yeah.
But you're gonna pay a premium because you're also gonna pay those Mello-Roos, and you're probably also gonna spend a little bit more on gas because you're gonna have to travel a little further to do your shopping and recreation and stuff like that. But to each his own. I mean, if you want a brand new house, that's an awesome spot.
Yeah, I mean, I like, with the Mello-Roos, like Aaron was saying, it's a negative where you have to pay it every single month, but because it's so high, you're going to look at an area that's being built up infrastructure wise. So Elk Grove, the 757 specifically, because there's so much new home building over there, it's going to be a drastically different spot, looking wise, visual, all that stuff within like 5 or 10 years, like crazy. So without much money being thrown into it, with Mello-Roos and things like the Skies Casino being put in there, and you got Costco and everything too. I think there's another Costco being thrown in Elk Grove as well in the 757. I think, I'm not 100%, but you're going to just see a bunch of development in that area, which makes it a good spot for people who are thinking, look, I like the idea of moving to Elk Grove. It works with us for a price point. We want everything underneath the sun, but we want also an area that's kind of going to be developing, growing. No one really wants to buy in a spot that like has already kind of like shown its peak. So like in Elk Grove 757, I see a lot of people moving in there because they kind of look around, and it's for them. It just is it's a good, safe hedging your bets as far as it goes. So Aaron, what do you think? Okay, let's, outside of like the Sheldon Estates and the $1 million homes out there, as far as the different zip codes, what are you thinking as far as a price point for 3.2? Let's say under 1,700 square feet. What are you thinking for each zip code?
You're going to be in like the mid fives, in the 95624, probably closer to like the low sixes and the 758 and 757s. If you get up into like closer to like a 4.2, low 2 to mid 2,000 square feet, you're going to be closer to like that 650, 700 range, maybe even a little bit more than that. Part of it's going to obviously depend on, which specific neighborhood that you're living in. I mean, there's like within the 95624, for instance, my business partner Jennifer, she owns a house in that neighborhood. It's called Camden Estates, and there's some really nice like semi-custom track houses, almost is what you would think of them as. But you know, those are right in the middle of the $550,000 homes that I was just talking about too. So it's kind of you know, pocketed throughout the area in terms of, you know, price points and everything. But on average, you know, like I said earlier, the average price point across all Elk Grove is 640 right now. But I would say that, you know, if you got a larger family, you know, you should probably plan on paying closer to like 750-ish or maybe even higher, depending on the amenities you want, how big of the yard, all the, you know, some of these people, they've gone all out with like the outdoor kitchens and outdoor patio living and all that kind of stuff too. So, I mean, if you're buying a place that's like totally tricked out with a pool and all that stuff too, you know, you're going to probably pay a lot more than, you know, that 750 range. You'll probably be in the 850, 900, maybe even more.
So, okay, guys. Well, that's the end of this video. Hopefully you guys felt a little informed about Elk Grove. Like I said, if you just want to shoot the breeze with Aaron, OG Elk Grove, give him a call. If you want to be shown houses, we're one of the more active teams in the area. Like I said, we'd be more than happy to talk to you a little bit about the different zip codes, new home builders, and all that stuff in Elk Grove. And until next time, guys, this is Mark and Aaron, and that's it. We're done. Any final words? Any partner words, Aaron?
Hey, we'll see you guys in Elk Grove.
See ya. Guess what, guys? The video just ended. But don't worry, we have more videos just like that one right over there. And if you missed that red subscribe button during the course of the video, we got you covered right there. Hit that subscribe button. We promise to bring you some amazing content. We won't let you down. Now, if you're looking for a team in the Sacramento metro area to work with, we'd love to talk to you one-on-one. We always include a Zoom link down below, so book a time where we can talk to you a little one-on-one, find out exactly what your real estate needs are.